What a time, what a time. Hoop season is upon us, and not just the NBA season, but the return of high school and college basketball looms. Here in the Bronx, we turn our lenses to St. Raymond and 6'4" small forward Brandon Storrs Jr. We had head coach Jorge Lopez on during last year's postseason run, and he says Storrs is special. Look at those moves. He is most certainly a player to watch. Class of 2025 on his way to the record books if he keeps up the pace he has already set for the Ravens. Storrs also plays for the New York Gauchos AAU team right here in the BX. Remember the name. Speaking of giant names in the Big Apple sports landscape, how about another Bronx boy starring? This one courtesy of the National Football League and the New York Football Giants. Saquon Barkley leads the NFL with 676 yards from scrimmage, an early season statistical achievement that has impressed many, except for Saquon Barkley. Barkley has done it all for the G-Men, lining up as a Wildcat quarterback against Chicago on October 2nd. The move was born out of necessity because quarterbacks Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor were both injured. Against Green Bay in London, it was included as part of the offensive game plan for the G-Men. Barkley took a direct snap and scored the deciding touchdown on a 2-yard run with 6:08 remaining. The BX taking over London. Here's more.
The energy was amazing. It felt like a college game, to be completely honest. You got to give credit where, the Green Bay, they showed out. I don't know if they came from Green Bay or just over here. It's a big fan base, but they showed out, and it felt like, for me, like you said, in college, like we were at a Michigan or at a Ohio State on a way and as a away team, and that's how you want it to be. We said that back against the wall. It's only us here, and only thing we got is each other, and we leaned on each other, and we were able to get the win. But the stadium was amazing, the atmosphere, this whole trip been amazing, and I love what the NFL is doing and trying to expand the game, and hopefully we're here soon.
There's magic in the Giants' air. The same could be said for the Bronx Bombers thus far in the playoffs. Aaron Judge and the Yankees taking on Cleveland in the division series. The Bronx Bombers star put it into perspective.
Man, it's heaven. That's that's where you want to be. For me, I get the jitters. The intros. Run out on that line, the crowd cheering, the little crisp, cool air. There's nothing like it. You can't hear the roll call. Even when I'm in right field, right next to the bleacher creatures, I can barely hear what they're saying out there. It's so loud, and but when it comes down to it, you just and you got to embrace it and enjoy every single moment. Because that's we're still playing the same kids game that we've been playing all year. Still going to go out there and do the same thing we've done for 162 games. So for the guys that haven't been there or experienced it, it's hey, soak it in. Realize and acknowledge that you are going to be a little nervous. You are going to have some butterflies in your stomach, but if you prepared the right way, did what you need to do pregame, and now it's time to go out there and embrace those moments and have fun with it and just play ball.
The Judge. My favorite Yankee moment of the playoffs might have to be a bomb from Harrison Bader. The former Horace Mann standout is a welcomed addition here in the BX, and he's bringing grit to the Pinstripers. Take it away, Harrison Bader. As
I was taught at the University of Florida from my coach, Brad Weitzel, who would always say, just, be the baseball, play the baseball. The baseball has no emotion. It doesn't take into account the situation. It doesn't take into account how many fans are in the stands. It is totally emotionless. So I try to act that way. However, when I do think about it for a second, it does mean a lot to my parents. My dad's dad was a very big Yankees fan, so I'm sure he would be very proud of this moment. So, when I think about all those things are very nice, but there's such a long road ahead in October, ultimately into November, that I will save all of those emotions for a later date. But there's no doubt it's special. I will acknowledge that for a second.
Love it. Love his style. Down the stretch, Aaron Judge and players like Harrison Bader got a ton of headlines, but to some degree, the Yanks ace might have flown under the radar a bit. Garrett Cole surpassed Ron Guidry's single-season franchise record with his major league leading 249th strikeout against Texas in the regular season final series before the playoffs. Cole had 4 strikeouts in his previous start on September 28th at Toronto to match the legendary Ron Guidry. The Gators' 248 strikeouts came in 1978 when he was the American League Cy Young Award winner after going 25-3 with a 1.74 earned run average. No small feat for Cole. Guidry and Cole are among only 4 pitchers in Yankees history with multiple 200 strikeout seasons, joining Luis Severino and David Cone. That got us reminiscing about his signing in the Bronx. Cole is the center of our Turn Back the Clock feature this week. Back in the time machine we go. Check this out. From an 11-year-old sporting a sign in the 2001 World Series to finally realizing his dreams of wearing the pinstripes, Garrett Cole's free agent signing with the Yankees is the stuff of legend in the making.
I'm just tremendously excited, and it's the best organization, in my opinion, in the league. There's a process here that Brian spoke to about trying to bring the best people at each individual position to surround everybody with the best opportunity to succeed. I think they've demonstrated that, certainly through Brian's tenure over the last 2 decades. So it instills a lot of confidence as a player when you hear those things. And it doesn't hurt to play for your favorite team.
Obviously, as the manager, when I hear we're going to be in play for arguably the game's best pitcher, that's exciting. I feel like we're a team with championship intangibles. We haven't pushed through yet, but we've clearly been knocking on the door for now a few years, and I just feel like Garrett will be another guy that comes here and fits in.
You know, it's an exciting time for us. We try to with every transaction, whether it's big or small, we always have high hopes and expectations and excitement surrounding the decisions behind them, and looking forward to them leading to real positive things on the field in days and years to come. So this is another chapter of that, obviously a much bigger chapter.
I came 8 outs away from getting a ring. I felt like I could see the light underneath the door. And then it was slammed shut in our face, where it was probably never really opened, actually. I'm as hungry as ever to finish that journey, finish that challenge. And in my opinion, there would be no better place to do it than New York.
Aces wild. It's also playoff time for the New York City Football Club. Defending champion NYCFC had another strong regular season. We go back inside the locker room for more with our playoff-bound champs.
Really good start. I think I have to say a really good finish, and that we found solutions in really difficult moments. I'm disappointed because if you look at the way that we finished, I feel like if we would have had a healthy roster or maybe not had been decimated by injuries, I think we've shown that we could finish in those top 2 spots. But I'm really proud. I'm really proud that the players have shown the togetherness and as a group, staff and players, that we've shown that no matter what challenges get thrown at us, that we can find solutions and we can stick together and we can finish really strong going into the playoffs with momentum.
Getting it done at Yankee Stadium. Well, we do have one team here in New York that didn't make the best of their playoff run. Sadly, that's the New York Mets. Well, maybe not so sadly here in the Bronx. The not-so-amazins were eliminated from postseason play in the wild card round by the San Diego Padres, falling by a score of 6-0. After winning 101 games, the Mets season is over early after losing 2 out of 3 to the Padres. Like in Game 1 of that wild card round, the Mets offense did not show up in Game 3. Padres starter Joe Musgrove retired the first 12 batters that he faced and allowed just 1 hit overall across 7 innings. An incredible performance. The Mets scored a mere 8 runs in the series, which of course did not cut it. In the end, the Mets' inconsistency in creating runs ultimately did them in against San Diego. The offense is an area that must be addressed in the offseason, specifically in the power department. Those are the headlines. The Mets, the poor Mets, are the subject of my C-list this morning. All jokes aside, after leading the National East for much of the 2022 campaign, the 101 win, New York Mets squandered away their division lead before suffering an early exit by losing 2 out of 3 to San Diego in the wild card round. The front office will need to take a hard look in the mirror this winter to figure out how to get this team over the hump. This is one of the toughest losses for the franchise in history. It could be compounded by what happens next and what happens now. Ace Jacob deGrom is expected to opt out of his contract. Closer Edwin Diaz will hit the open market. And Steve Cohen could be all in on Yankee slugger Aaron Judge. What if that happened? First and most important, Jacob deGrom, the multiple Cy Young Award winner, is expected to opt out of his contract and hit the open market. Simply put, how much is too much for an injury-plagued two-time Cy Young Award winner? Question mark. The Mets don't know if deGrom wants to return too, but the Mets will pursue deGrom, but they don't know yet how aggressively or what deGrom's contract demands will be or how much outside interest in him there will be at Max Scherzer-like money. Could he get $50 million a year? Maybe. Also hitting the market is all-star closer Edwin Diaz. Cue Timmy Trumpet. Diaz posted a career-best 1.31 ERA this season. Outfielder Brandon Nimmo is also a free agent for the Mets. Mets are leaning on bringing him back too at the right price. It will be interesting to see what the club does following such an incredible regular season with not much coming of it in the postseason. Stay tuned. Meantime, we have bigger fish to fry right here in the Bronx, Rena. Bigger fish, bigger fish. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C. Keep it locked on Open. More back after this.